With my light here for a second. Today is day 9 of wellness, and I'm going to make this video quick because, to be honest, I kind of forgot to share anything today. So I want to make sure, I want to make sure I stay committed to this. And so today's video is going to be super quick. I hope I'm going to try to keep it quick. I just want to share 3 things with you, for those of you who are, this is especially relevant if you are very new on your fibroid elimination journey, whether you are on a natural fibroid elimination journey, whether you have had a fibroid removal procedure, or even if you have, you're just considering what to do next. So, my top 3 things that I think that you should focus on if you are on a natural fibroid elimination journey, especially if you're just starting out. This is going to be really good for my beginners, or people who are new on the journey. 3 areas that I want you to focus on that I've seen make the biggest impact are going to be the first is going to be your stress reduction slash stress management. Now, let's be real, most of us actually cannot afford, but no one can afford the stress that we all have and that we carry. So it's going to be really important for you to learn to eliminate as much stress as possible. And where there is not a way to eliminate, maybe there are some strategies that you can use to manage your stress. And so when I say eliminate stress, I mean you really have to be serious. Like, you have to, the kids say you got to run a strict program. You got to run a strict program when it comes to things that are stressing you out or costing you your peace, are just adding negativity to your life. And that is because stress impacts so much of what goes on with your body, from the way your digestion is working to your sleep, to, and these are all things that you need to be working properly when you are dealing with, when you are trying to eliminate fibroids or keep them away, right? If you've already had them removed, or maybe you've been able to successfully shrink them, we want to make sure that the rest of our bodily functions are working properly. And one thing that will thwart this entire process is stress. And ask me how I know, and it's because I personally feel like, I've had to do, and I'm still really doing a lot of work around that. And it's not, and when I say stress, I don't even just mean stress, because some of us live a stressful life on the day to day, but some of us are actually still holding on to things, or still, um, keeping things inside of us that we need to release, we need to let go of, or we need, are chronic things that we need to learn how to, I guess, manage or cope, or just eliminate or work around. And so sometimes when we talk about stress management or stress elimination, the first thing that I always get some pushback on that sometimes, because sometimes we are in situations that are generally stressful, that would be stressful for most people. For example, if you're a caretaker, that can be a really stressful situation that's causing you, a lot of strain. And so you might not be able to eliminate your role as a caretaker. You might not be able to eliminate the way that you are dealing with that, but, or you might not be able to eliminate that situation from your life. But one thing that you can do is learn how to react better, learn how to adjust better, learn how to just get in a more peaceful place with whatever situation you're in. And so that's one of the ways that we can manage or eliminate our stress. Is sometimes it's not really that the actual circumstances going to change. Sometimes there's nothing we can do about our circumstances, but what we can do instead is learn how to deal with our circumstances, learn how to find peace in our circumstances. So, the next area that you need to be mindful of or that you need to start working on is, you probably could have guessed, your diet. There's just no getting around that. There's just no getting around the fact that what you are consuming is really going to be hurtful or helpful on your natural fibroid elimination journey. So, with that being said, some key things that I like to coach women on when it comes to your diet is, I like to ask a lot of questions whenever I'm doing consults about what women have tried, what seemed to work, what didn't seem to work, and all that. Because sometimes you see all these like prescriptive diets online, and these diets that are, supposed to do all these magical things. But one thing that I have learned is that a lot of us actually know, like we intuitively know what we should and what we shouldn't have, what our bodies can tolerate. And a lot of us ignore that. So, and the reason that I bring that up is because some healthy foods or things that might be generally considered healthy might actually not be a good thing for you to eat. So, whenever you are trying to figure out, okay, what's the best diet for me, sometimes I will suggest that people go with what resonates with them and go with what, like, your gut instinct is telling you you need to do. I don't think it's not really intuitive eating, but just figuring out, okay, I don't feel so well when I eat XYZ, or I just find that, so for one example, some weeks ago, I met with a lady. I did a wellness strategy, and we were talking about. She mentioned how when she eats red meat, she feels heavy. She doesn't feel like it works well for her. So, my suggestion for someone like that would be to just eliminate it. And I know there are lots of studies want both ways about red meat, but some confirm it or some suggesting that it is actually good for you. And I think it is actually good for some people. But if that's intuitively the way that you are feeling, then go with that. Go with that. Also, you have to be consistent. Whatever diet you choose, whatever way of eating you choose, you have to be consistent with that, and you have to be able to do it for long periods of time. And the other thing is, when it comes to your diet, is there is no one size fits all, because everybody's body is unique. And not only is your body unique, but your unique life circumstance. You have unique life circumstances. So for one person, it might be easier, it might work, or it might work for them to be, fully vegan or fully plant based, and they can soak all of their grains and legumes, and they just have the time, or they have the lifestyle that supports that, whereas another person, that might not work well for. And so that's some things that I help my clients work out in our wellness strategies, is what actually makes sense for your lifestyle, what's actually doable for you, and what's going to be the most efficient. Because sometimes that looks different for everybody. Like, nobody is going to have the same plan that's going to work exactly for them in the same way. And so the third thing that I encourage everyone to do, and I feel like this is as long as you're able bodied, this is a very easy place to start, and that is with you getting more movement in. I cannot emphasize walking enough. I love it. It is one of my favorite forms of movement. Whatever is your favorite form of movement, whether that's dance, whether it's walking, whether it is lifting weights, whatever it is, I want you to find it and I want you to start doing it. But also do the walking, because I want you to start doing walking throughout the day. Getting up and moving throughout the day is going to be really helpful for you. It's going to really help improve that circulation. Also, a lot of us are sitting all the time, or we're sitting a lot. A lot of us work desk jobs. And so your pelvic region, where the area where your uterus is housed, is probably not always getting the movement that it needs because we are sitting so much. And so that's why I'm always a proponent of simply walking, because it's the most accessible exercise for most people. And so whether you are a pro, you work out, 4 or 5 days a week, or whether you are a beginner, it's a really good place to start, or a really good thing to add into your exercise routine. But just really getting that consistent movement in, or I encourage people to get movement in throughout the day. Work your way up to being able to have a consistent times that you are getting up. Maybe you're getting up. I remember back in the day, and I'm sure a lot of the smartwatches still do this, but I had a Fitbit, and it would vibrate like every hour if you hadn't gotten up and moved every hour. And I used to love that feature because it really did help remind me to get up throughout the day and to move. And so that's one of my big keys for helping to improve your circulation. Also, helping to get rid of any excess fat, because that excess fat is going to store waste and hormones, the excess hormones. And so you don't want to have that. You don't want to have that excess weight. So if you are overweight, walking is going to be a good place for you to start when it comes to releasing actual fat, as opposed to just burning calories. So I hope this was helpful. You guys, give me a like. Make sure you're subscribed. I'm going to be sharing some wellness tips for you all through December up until Christmas. I think I might I think I might do something on Christmas Eve too. I don't know. But thank you for watching. Like I said, I'll be sharing all month long tips to help you have better hormone health going into the new year. So maybe you are not in a place where you are not on your health kick right now and you want to wait until the new year. That is fine, but watching these videos is going to help give you, something to work with when you do get ready to start. But I will catch you guys tomorrow. And like I said, make sure you subscribe. That's super important for me, because I realize that whenever I do these videos live, I don't, I think YouTube only shows them to my subscribers. But then if you guys engage with them, they'll show them to other people in the algorithm. So, again, thank you for watching. I will see you tomorrow.